So, Peter Schrager today did his top 5 clutchest quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, how do you define the term clutch? Well, starting off right away, obviously, it's in the final part of the game with, 2 minutes or less left. You're down by, let's say, a field goal or maybe 5, 6 points, and you need a game-winning drive to win the game. The quarterback that can execute that consistently, win games, and be able to, just get it done, that's clutch. Even if you just need a field goal, that 20 seconds on the clock, looking down the field, hits your receiver, gets out of bounds, field goal, wins the game. The quarterback that when you look at the other side, you go, oh, we left him way too much time. We left him way, way, way too much time. That's how you define clutch. If you look at the other side with, 30, 40 seconds left and you go, bro, just kneel it down. You guys have no chance. Then that's not clutch. So his top 5 list of quarterbacks. Now this is the whole NFL. It's not just the AFC. Last time they did a whole just AFC. This is the whole NFL. Number 5. And I can't play the video well, so they'll take down my video. So number 5, Josh Allen. And he puts this art up on the screen. Most passing touchdowns, final 2 minutes of the half, last 3 seasons. Now this is the first half, not the second half. So they're saying before the halftime, that last drive before half. Josh Allen, 20, Brady, 20, Aaron Rodgers, 18, Justin Herbert, 18, and Derek Carr, 18. Out of all those quarterbacks, yeah, I would say Josh Allen is clutch. He is on my list of top 5 clutchest quarterbacks. Problem with Josh Allen is he is a crazy gambler, okay, when he's on the field. Look at last year's game, Vikings-Bills, how crazy that went. How did it end? In overtime, while Josh Allen's leading down the field to win the game, he throws a stupid interception across the middle of the field. This is stuff he does on a regular basis. But then he does so many more amazing things that kind of take away from that. Or he'll run the ball for 60 yards, and you're like, oh, wow, this guy just did what he just did. Josh Allen is clutch, but he's so risky. He is a risky clutch. He's like you get in your car to go to your job, but you know that your left tire is about to fall off. But it's not falling off. But every once in a while, your car just will stop. Well, it will just slow down. And you get a light that says, like, your tire is about to frickin' explode. But it doesn't. That's Josh Allen. Number 4. That's the best way I could put that. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, there is a part of his career where I would say he was very clutch, okay? There is a part of his career where I'd say that he, you have him and you're going to win this game. There was a part where it shows it right here, which is so bullcrap. The game-winning touchdown, Hail Mary, against the Lions, where on the final play, the guy grabbed the face mask, and that caused the final game-winning play. Which, if you watch the playback, it wasn't face mask. That was a bad call, and they got a free game-winning touchdown when it wasn't face mask. It is what it is. The guy grabbed Rodgers' shoulder pad and not his face mask. But what he did was, he went like that and then grabbed the shoulder pad. This is not a face mask. If you grab it, it's a face mask. But if you touch it and then you pull the shoulder pad, it's not a face mask. But because he grabbed the shoulder pad, it looked like he moved his head because Rodgers moved his head. Nonetheless, though, Rodgers, again, when it comes to being clutch, with how long he's been in the NFL, it's hard to say he's clutch as much as other quarterbacks. Because there was period of times where he was clutch, but again, this guy is what we call the NFC Championship choker. He gets to the NFC Championship game so many freaking times with the Packers, so many playoff appearances, and cannot get the job done. He had the game won versus Seattle, choked it away. Obviously, Arizona wasn't his fault. He had no defense that year. But even with that being said, he just had so many playoff games where you're like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to win this game. Definitely going to win this. But then you look at the Cowboys game in the playoffs, Cowboys-Packers, where he had that final crazy throw to Jared Cook on the sideline that got them the game-tying field goal. So it's like you want to say with Rodgers, with his whole body of work, right? And we don't have this luxury of saying with Josh Allen. We don't have this whole luxury of saying this whole body of work. With Rodgers, there's point of his career where he was a choke, he was clutch, and there's other parts where he's been mid. He's kind of, how are we going to put this analogy together, guys? He is a sports car with 100,000 miles on it. I don't know where I was going with that one, but you know what? That sounds about right. Okay, let me not play this, not get kicked off. Number 3, Joe Burrow. I don't know how they're going to put 2 more quarterbacks above him. There's only one quarterback that you could arguably say is more clutch than Joe Burrow, and that's Patrick Mahomes. And I, even as a Bengals fan, I will say right now, Patrick Mahomes is one of the most clutchest quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the most clutch. But for Joe Burrow to be number 3, number 2 must be like freaking amazing. And I might just like be brain dead to not remember number 2. But Joe is very, very, very clutch. Obviously, the biggest knock on him is going to be, well, that game-winning drive in the Super Bowl versus the Rams, they got stopped on 4th and 1, and they tried to run the ball, and they failed. Yeah, that was definitely a big mark on his resume. But other than that, every single time he has the football, I know if I give Joe Burrow the ball back with a minute or less on the clock, he'll probably go down and beat me. He's done it so many times with so many opponents. There's so many games where you can never count Joe Burrow out of. No matter what the score is, the time left on the clock, he will come back and win the game. And it's one of those things also with him, and it's just his character in general, is he's so chill and relaxed, which makes him so clutch. There are some quarterbacks who can't take the big moments. There are some players who can't handle big moments. And if you put them in the big moment, they're going to choke. They're going to, absolutely mess up because they can't handle the pressure. It seems like with Joe, the more pressure you put on him, the better he gets. Look at the AFC Championship game last year. That final drive for the Bengals. If it wasn't for Hakeem getting destroyed by Chris Jones and literally getting thrown back into Joe Burrow, it was 3rd and 18 where he hit, he hit T or he hit Hayden Hurst for first down. It was 3rd and 18. Everyone said, okay, yep, you're going to punt the ball, Joe sat there, looked down the field, made his reads, and threw the ball. Most quarterbacks would have gotten scared there, would have messed up, and would have checked the ball down. Maybe try to scramble themselves. They would have made mistakes. He sits there, he's calm, he's collect, he doesn't worry. He's not a guy who goes out there and he's scared about the next play. He sits there and he's Joe Shiesty about it. He just makes plays. Okay, perfect. That's what we do. He is, again, and I would argue Joe and Mahomes are 1A, 1B for the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL. I think I can understand the argument that Mahomes is a tad bit more clutch because, again, Mahomes has been, in the body of work, has been more clutch. He has been. But Joe is so close to that. And you give Joe a couple more years, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be Joe and Mahomes as the clutchest quarterbacks in the NFL. And number two better be like crazy good because I know number 1 is going to be Mahomes. There's no way if number 2 is Mahomes. That number 1 must be like the absolute monster. All right, who's number 2? I can't think of number 2. What? How? Over Joe? Wait. They put Matthew Stafford is more clutch than Joe Burrow. And the only 2 moments I could see them bringing up with this. Number 1, versus the Cleveland Browns in his rookie season. The guy broke his arm on a game-winning drive, and he still played that game-winning drive. This guy freaking messed up his arm to a point where you were like, yeah, he's out for the season. He's done. It's over. He still ran back on the field and got a touchdown to win the game because it was a PI call and they got to the 1 yard line. He still went out there, jumped over the top for a touchdown, even with a broken, messed up arm. That was clutch. That was absolutely clutch to a certain degree, because you could say also it kind of wasn't clutch because there was a PI call against the Browns that let him get to the 1 yard line, and then they reached over the pylon, and obviously that wasn't really clutch of him. That was more just like ballsy of him. Like, bro, you just did this with a broken arm. That's like toughness. That's not really clutchness. And then they're going to say number 2 was the Rams Super Bowl. Which, they're going to say, well, that final game-winning drive where they scored a touchdown, yes, the drive where Logan Wilson did nothing wrong and they called a penalty on him. The drive where the Bengals stopped Matthew Stafford on his clutch drive, and there was a bullcrap penalty on Logan Wilson when he wasn't holding, but they called holding on Logan Wilson, which has been disputed by many people as a bullcrap call. And if that call does not get called, the Rams don't score a touchdown there, and the Bengals win the Super Bowl. So I'm very lenient about that, okay? That's very a tough subject there. Outside of that, those 2 moments, when has he ever been clutch? The Buccaneers game. Look at the Buccaneers-Rams game, the NFC Championship game. The Bucs literally were done for rights. They were absolutely out of it. 0 chance. They're not coming back. They have no chance to come back. What happened? They came back from 20-odd points because Stafford couldn't score any more points. They literally had the game in control, and the Bucs came back. I couldn't do it. I can't agree. I can't. That makes no sense. He was clutch a couple of times with the Lions over the years, but nothing with the Rams, really. And the Lions, again, he was clutch a little bit, but not to a point now I'm going to say he's number 2 in this list. And look, they're showing the Browns play, where he, obviously, game-winning drive, he actually did really, break his arm. Like, his arm was messed up. And then he still came back in and scored the game-winning touchdown. I mean, look at this guy. This guy's breaking down bad. But this is toughness. This is not giving up. This is integrity. This is not clutchness. That's not being clutch. That's being one tough son of a gun. That's being one tough SOB, right? That's not clutch. If you go back in with a broken arm, that's not you being clutch. That's you being tough. That's you being never able to get back up. Or never go down. Like, that's, I don't know. Number 1, just show it. It's Mahomes. And listen, I'm not going to argue with this. Mahomes is the most clutchest quarterback in the NFL. You know, in any game you play, just kind of, again, like I said, like Burrow, if you give Mahomes the ball back with even 25 seconds left, you're sitting there biting your fingernails, worrying like crazy, stressing yourself upon belief that, listen, this guy's going to go down the field and beat us. This guy's going to go make a play, and he's going to beat us. Look at the Bills game in the AFC Championship. AFC Divisional round a couple years ago. I mean, it's like Mahomes, if you give him the ball, he's going to win the game. You can give him the ball, and I'm kind of convinced at this point, with 5 seconds on the clock, he'll go win the game. Like, this is how he plays. He is unstoppable. This is why him and Burrow, and I've said this a million times, are the top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL, and there is a drop-off after them. It's Mahomes, Burrow, drop, because they are so freaking clutch, and it is hard to even argue anyone is as clutch as those 2 guys are in the NFL. Absolutely impossible to, argue anything else, because they're so clutch. So, I will say, overall-wise, I don't like Stafford on this list. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I would probably put Mahomes 1, 2 Burrow, 3 I might put... I don't know if I want to put Aaron Rodgers. For being clutch, I guess I would put Aaron Rodgers because he had such a great body of work. There are times where he was really clutch. the Arizona Cardinals game, the final play of the game right here, that was really clutch. And by the way, when I talk about Arizona, I'm not talking about the one where they scored 43. I was talking about the one that scored 43-41. Not this game. This game is different. And then I'll probably put Allen as number 3. Josh Allen's number 3. Number 4 is Rodgers. And then number 5, I might even do a wild card and put in Jalen Hurts. I feel like Jalen Hurts is becoming a lot more clutch nowadays. So I might even put Jalen Hurts in there. But I don't know if I would put Stafford at number 2. See you guys next one. Peace out.